Hey there, everybody. It's your old pal Michael. Welcome back to a special edition of Sports Talk, Super Bowl edition. Today, we're going to be talking about the top 5 blunders, in my opinion, in Super Bowl history. So, without further ado, let's get started. These are blunders that obviously cost the teams the ultimate victory of hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. Now, before I start the list, I want to mention that Leon Lett's fumble might be a big blunder in Super Bowl history, but it's not on this list. The only reason why is because it did not cost the Dallas Cowboys a victory in the Super Bowl. It just happened to make the blooper reel, as you would say. So that play will not be on this list, although it might be on other people's list. But, these are things that really affected the outcome of the game, although there is one on here that didn't. It was just kind of a crazy play that happened. So without further ado, let's get started. We do have actually one honorable mention on here because there were actually a couple of plays I did forget to put on here while I was making my top 5 list. So that's why we have one honorable mention for this, and that would be the power outage that happened in Super Bowl 47. That, of course, you remember was in the Superdome down in Louisiana between the Baltimore Ravens and San Francisco 49ers. In the second half, the Ravens had a substantial lead, commanding lead on the 49ers. The power goes out. It's about a half an hour delay in the Super Bowl. And once the power comes back on, all the momentum from the Ravens had disappeared by that time. San Francisco staged a huge comeback, but ultimately fell short in the end. But you got to imagine, without that blunder of the power outage, is this game just a simple Baltimore rout in the end? And you got to figure so. I mean, they had all the momentum at this time. And of course, there have been many conspiracy theories going around that the NFL staged this power outage because of the fact they did not want people tuning away from the game. But if that was the case with this Super Bowl, why then in Super Bowl 48 didn't they have a power outage with Denver and Seattle? Come on, get the Broncos back in the game. Anyways, moving on now actually to the top 5 list. The fifth play on the list that was a blunder was Garo Upremi's field goal snafu in Super Bowl 7. We all remember the Miami Dolphins ended up winning that Super Bowl with the Washington Redskins 14-7, but it was not the defense of the Dolphins that gave up a score. Yes, it was field goal kicker Garo Upremian who had a field goal snafu. The kick was blocked by the Redskins. So Upremian picks up the ball and tries to throw it down the field. Well, instead of throwing it down the field, he ends up fumbling the ball as it slipped out of his hand. Redskins returned it for a touchdown. That put the Dolphins' perfect regular season in jeopardy, but they did end up hanging on for the victory 14-7. Like I said, most of these blunders on this list affected the outcome of the game, but that one really didn't. It was just kind of a funny moment that happened. And I know I said Leon Letts was funny, but I think the field goal snafu, getting one, dropping the ball before the goal line, I think getting a field goal blocked and the kicker's trying to throw it and he just bobbles it and drops it. I thought that was a little more funny. So moving on to number 4 on the list, for a blunder in Super Bowl history, how about the snap over Peyton Manning's head to begin Super Bowl 48? So after the kickoff, Broncos take the ball for their first possession of the game, and Peyton Manning is calling signals out, and then all of a sudden, center Manny Ramirez snaps the ball over Peyton Manning's head, and the Broncos have to go jump on the ball in the end zone, cover it, and it prevents Seattle from getting a touchdown. So it's only 2-0 at that point. First time in NFL history in the Super Bowl that they started out with a safety. Now, if you had money on that in Vegas, oh boy, you'd be definitely rich from that one, because who would have thought a safety would start off Super Bowl 48 at that time? Nobody. I mean, we weren't thinking, this ball's going to go over Manning's head in the end zone for a safety. We're thinking, okay, this is the Broncos' time to show their high-powered offense that they had all season. And you got to wonder from that point, were the Broncos rattled? I'm going to say yes. The third Super Bowl blunder in Super Bowl history has to be not running Marshawn Lynch down by the goal line in Super Bowl 49. Now, in the previous video, the top 5 plays in Super Bowl history that I gave, Malcolm Butler's interception was on the list. Not running Marshawn Lynch has to be a big-time blunder, in my opinion. I don't know what Pete Carroll was thinking at the time, but all they do, if they hand it off to Marshawn Lynch, he runs the ball in the end zone. Seahawks take the lead. It's late in the fourth quarter, under a minute to go. Most likely, Seahawks walk away with a victory. Marshawn Lynch gets the MVP most likely, and there you go. But a lot of people have been saying the reason why they threw the ball instead of running it was because Marshawn Lynch does not talk to the media. Seriously, he doesn't. He does not talk to the media. Remember? Do you not remember the hype going into Super Bowl week where the first day where you talk to all the players, I'm just here so I will not get fined. And he said that to every response from every question. And yes, the media did end up laughing at points, but I mean, he was just saying, I'm just here so I will not get fined. And you got to wonder, did the Seahawks maybe want to pass it, make Russell Wilson the hero instead because he's going to give a better soundbite than Marshawn Lynch? Some people were saying that was the reason. But come on, if that's the case, that's stupid. You run Marshawn, you win the Super Bowl. It's 1 yard out. I still don't know what the Seahawks were thinking. So the second blunder in Super Bowl history, how about Jackie Smith's drop in Super Bowl 13? Cowboys tight end, wide open over the middle of the field. I mean, nobody is around him in the end zone. And then Jackie Smith slips. The ball hits him right in between the numbers, and he just drops it. Oh, and he was just so upset after the play, throws his feet up in the air. The announcers couldn't believe it. They had already said Jackie Smith caught. No, he drops it. You know, and they'd say he's got to be the sickest man in America. And, you know, he probably was, because think about this. Without that blunder, Cowboys probably win the Super Bowl. Final score of that game was 35-31. Cowboys had to kick a field goal instead. Hey, add 4 more points. That's overtime we were talking about in that. And there's never been an overtime game in Super Bowl history. So Jackie Smith's drop cost the Cowboys big time in that game. And the number one blunder, in my opinion, in Super Bowl history, Scott Norwood, wide right in Super Bowl 25. So the Buffalo Bills are in the Super Bowl for the first time in NFL history. And they're trying to win against the New York Giants. Bills are a favorite in this game. They got Thurman Thomas. They got Jim Kelly. Phil Simms is out for the Giants, but they managed to play well in this game. Giants lead 20-19. Scott Norwood, all he has to do is come on and kick a field goal to win. It wasn't that far away. It was probably 40-some yards away is what he was. The snap was good. The hold was clean. Norwood kicked it, and it was wide right. That has to be the biggest blunder, in my opinion, because that's the final play of the game, and he missed it for the win. Now, if he had missed it and they went to overtime, you know, if say it was tied and he had missed it, and then they go to overtime and he redeems himself and they win, that's a different story. But they were down by 1, had a chance to win, and could not do it. That was the first appearance for the Bills in 4 straight years. And they appeared in the Super Bowl 3 more years after that in a row. And none of those 4 years could they win a Super Bowl, and they weren't close any of the other years. That was their best chance. And they failed at it. Of course, at that time, they didn't know they were going to go to 4 straight Super Bowls. But you had to think as a fan, this is our time. This is our time. This is our time. This is our time. No, none of the times. So Scott Norwood, sorry, dude. You lived to be, in my opinion, the biggest blunder in Super Bowl history with your wide right kick, costing the Buffalo Bills a Super Bowl title. Now, I want to know, what are some of your biggest blunders, or what do you think are some of the biggest blunders in Super Bowl history? Comment in the comment section below. I want to hear from you. So thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to my channel for more content. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Links are in the description below. We won't talk to you again now till Monday. I'll actually be vlogging on Super Bowl Sunday, doing a little bit of vlog before the game, doing a little bit of vlogging during the game as well. We'll combine that into one video. That will come out Monday, along with my analysis of Super Bowl 50, my recap of it. How did the game go down? What were the what was the turning points of the game? So we'll do a full recap just like we do with every sports talk. That will actually come out first, and we'll have the vlog come out second. So, this is Michael Loudon, over and out.